Are under pressure studying and writing their final exams, and now power cuts are adding to their stress. There are concerns that the rolling power cuts are having a disastrous effect on pupils. For more on this, I'm now joined by the Basic Education Department spokesperson, Elijah Mhlanga. Elijah, very good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been going across the country monitoring the situation. Just give us a broad view of how matrics are coping.
Tony, good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, of course, we have been visiting provinces. In fact, today I spent the day in the Nkomazi area in Mpumalanga province, where we spoke to learners in grade 12 who are busy with the examinations. The examination is going fine. Nothing has stopped the exam up to now. But the concern is that they are not able to prepare for the papers that they are writing in the evenings because of load shedding, and they are concerned about that, and they feel that something needs to be done.
That is a major concern, but really and truly, what can be done for these poor pupils?
Well, they expect the adults to sort out the situation, because we know that there's examinations, and they're asking us to talk to the authorities and those that are responsible for power generation in the country, and in this case, it is the relevant department as well as Eskom itself. And fortunately, we are going to have a meeting tomorrow with Eskom management. Some of them will be participating in the discussions that we're going to have with them, and will be conveying the concerns that our learners are raising with us, as well as the chief invigilators who are school principals in the different examination centers around the country, who are saying that the camps that they've organized are not going as smoothly as they would like to, because in the evenings, which are the times that they use for additional learning, there's no electricity, which then presents them with a huge problem. And they feel that there has to be relief brought in order to correct the situation.
So, Elijah, maybe let's talk about these centers or the classrooms, where the actual exams are taking place. How has load shedding affected the actual writing of the examination? I would assume, for subjects like IT and so forth, you need to be running computers and so forth. Surely those type of subjects have been affected.
Well, they were not. Fortunately, they were written in the last week of October. And there was no load shedding, and the papers went on smoothly. We always start with CAT and IT, which is Computer Applications and Information Technology, and those were written without any glitches. The load shedding started afterwards, and so far there hasn't been any disruptions caused, because the daytime light that we enjoy through the sunlight that we get is sufficient. Yes, in some schools it can be a little bit dark, but they're still able to see and proceed with the examinations. And we're grateful for that, because no one has said, I'm not going to write because there's no electricity. They have understood that we need to find a way to live within this crisis of the loss of power, even when we need it the most, particularly when it comes to preparation. But the writing itself has not been disrupted. So we expect that we will receive the cooperation that we require from everyone, so that we're able to run with the exams until the end.
Well, look, I mean, learners, already, suffering from the effects of COVID-19, and I want to look at the psychological aspect here. COVID-19, families have, unfortunately, people have passed in many families and so forth, and now we're throwing this on top of them. Psychologically, surely this must have some sort of negative effect on some of the learners. I mean, you might want to get to an exam, and you can't get to an exam on time because the traffic lights are not working and so forth.
You're absolutely correct. The anxiety is not just on the side of the candidates themselves, also our officials. Remember, the papers have to be transported daily from storage facilities to nodal points where schools collect them and take them to exam centers. And that's something that must happen on time every day. And when the traffic lights are not working, traffic is not regulated, delays occur. So the anxiety affects really everyone. But fortunately, up to now, we haven't received any reports that indicate that disruptions have occurred or delays have taken place as a result of the delay of the traffic lights not working due to load shedding. So it seems that some of our officials have understood the need to work around the current situation. But of course, the anxiety is there, and it's completely unacceptable because we don't want anything to interfere with the examination, particularly at this time when, as you have indicated, our learners have had to deal with other challenges. And we've seen in some cases, they are now living within the school premises. They sleep there, study there, write exams there, all this in an effort to try assist them to create more learning and revision time, to try manage the impact of COVID-19 as well as the impact of load shedding.
I just want to go back to what you said a little bit earlier on. You said you are meeting with, if I'm not correct, was Eskom, and you want to be asking them for some sort of relief. I mean, realistically, what could you really, really be expecting from them?
Well, to work with us, as indicated, the biggest concern right now is the preparation for exams. At this time, right now, as we are talking, they're expected to be studying. In fact, in one of the schools where I was in Mpumalanga today, they said that their classes end at 9 p.m. and the learners must make their way home. The school is right within the township, and they're expected to be walking home. Normally, in that area, there's electricity, but with load shedding, then it means they leave school and walk home in darkness, and then criminal activity can creep in. They could get robbed or they could get injured, something that we don't want to see happen. So there are many efforts that are being made by the education system to try support the learners under the circumstances. But outside school premises, that becomes difficult if the electricity supply is not available at this time, an hour in which we're busy talking. So never mind the other work that they need to do once the sun goes down and they expect to start studying. So all of those things do not work. So one of the things that could be considered is that in the country, there should be a certain time when load shedding shouldn't happen. Ideally, there shouldn't be any load shedding, but we also need to consider the plight of our learners who are currently stressed. So we have prepared a set of proposals, of course, which we are going to table to them tomorrow. We can't talk about them right now, but we have 10 proposals that we are going to make to them that we expect them to respond to positively, because the cry for help is not only coming from basic education, it's coming from all sectors. Everyone is affected. The business people, those that are working from home, offices, everywhere, everyone is affected. So we hope that our plea for assistance will also be heard, and that it will land in good ears that are going to try find a way to manage the current situation.
All right, very good. Wish you luck in that particular meeting, and hope you do get some sort of relief for the kids that are writing exams. Scheduled to end on the 7th of December. Elijah Mhlanga, their basic education spokesperson, just speaking to us about the effects that the load shedding is having on matriculants.